Okay. This is a video about plowing the ground with a one bottom plow and my wheel horse 502. It's a 1962 wheel horse with a pull start K181 Kohler engine. It's got an 8-speed transmission from a C101 and it's quite heavy. I've built a front hanging weight. The front tires are fluid filled. The rear tires are not fluid filled, but I have about 50 pounds of weights on each side in the rear. I would guess overall the tractor weighs somewhere around 500 to 600 pounds. It does everything I need it to do. It could probably use a new belt one of these days. It seems pretty worn, and the pedal seems to kind of flip back once in a while, and I could probably adjust some of that out. But yesterday when I was recording this, I definitely felt some slippage, and I had to play with the pedal adjustment while I was plowing. The front tires are D-Stone 4x8s, tri-ribs of course, and the rears are D-Stone 23 1050 12s. Just remember those tires run a little small. I'm running a 10-inch wheel horse one bottom plow, and when you're cutting a new furrow, you have to give it a little bit of adjustment so that suck point digs just a little bit deeper. Typically for me, one turn does the job. I make my first 2 cuts, and then I go back, take that one turn out, and continue on. Keep in mind that this farmland hasn't actually been turned in about 5 years. Some of the spots, the sod's pretty thick. There's quite a bit of new root growth that I have to cut and peel over, and some of it's pretty stubborn. If I had a little more weight, like fluid filling the rear tires, that'd probably help greatly. I'm going to be planting my food plots pretty soon, but my plan is that I will let this turned over sod dry for a few days, and then I'll till it to bust it all up, and then seed, and then maybe even do a light disc, or even just run my yard roller over it to drive the seeds down into the soil. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take that one turn adjustment back out, and I'll let you just listen to the tractor run for a while. The exhaust stack is obviously custom. It's a cherry bomb muffler, and I welded the baffle from a Honda 750 Shadow into the top of that cherry bomb, and then obviously added the little tink flapper on the top. I modified the counterweight on the flapper by lightening it up, drilling some holes in the shape of a horse head, and that kind of helps so it stays open a little more often and tinks around. This tractor has a manual implement lift, and it is attached by a very strong cable to the rear hitch, and that's how the plow comes out of the ground. A lot of people will stop and back up a little bit and then pick the plow up, but I find that if I'm still moving, it still comes out pretty okay. You'll notice that the coulter wheel on my plow is turned upside down and not in use. There's just times where having a lot of field trash or long dead grass will just clog up in that wheel and make it less effective than not having it at all. The tail of the plow, which I believe is called the frog, is what steers the plow through the ground. There's nothing that holds the plow left or right on the tractor. It's able to swivel probably a 15 degree, maybe 30 degree angle left to right. But that plow adjustment is what keeps it straight and running right through the ground. There's just nothing like keeping a plow shiny. You never paint one, and even for storage, you just throw some grease on it. Try never to leave it out in the weather, and never let it rust. So for anybody who thinks that this is just a toy, you can see all the work that it does. It's a 1962 wheel horse 502 with an upgraded 8-horse Kohler K181 and a 8-speed transmission from a C101, pulling a 1-bottom plow, cutting sod that hasn't been cut in 5 years. It's going to be a corn food plot for the deer. The rest of my little strip plots are going to be clover, rape, radish, and turnips. I've got 3 of them about this size, maybe 8 to 10 feet wide, maybe 12 feet, I don't know, and 30-40 yards long. Just something for the deer to graze on with low pressure. Well, I was just fixing to set up a side shot to drive by and show you how amazing this tiller just digs right in and does its thing on this 3-point GT14. And then I noticed a wet dash. So the hydraulics on this are part of the transmission, the hydro. And if you lose hydraulic fluid, you damage the transmission, potentially. So we shut her down. Luckily, I don't think I blew it too long ago. I don't see any real fluid behind, but I do see some right there. So we're gonna get this tiller lifted out of the ground, engage the tow valve, and pull this back to the shop for repairs.